Ladies and gentlemen, gather around for one of the most anticipated, most controversial, and most shocking nights in boxing history. This is the story of when Iron Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet, stepped into the ring with the British heavyweight monster, Lennox Lewis. What happened that night in Memphis would change heavyweight boxing forever. Picture this. It's 2002. Mike Tyson, the once invincible destroyer who made grown men tremble, is now a faded shadow of his former glory. But don't be fooled. This man still carries dynamite in both fists. His reputation alone could sell out any arena in the world. Across the Atlantic stands Lennox Lewis, the British-Canadian giant. 6'5", 245 pounds of calculated destruction. This wasn't just another heavyweight. This was a boxing scientist with the power to end careers. Lewis was the undisputed heavyweight champion, holding the WBC, IBF, and IBO titles. But the world still questioned him. They wanted to know, could he handle the ferocity of Iron Mike? The press conference before this fight became legendary for all the wrong reasons. Tyson launched himself at Lewis like a caged animal released into the wild. Security scrambled. Chaos erupted. Mike bit Lewis on the leg. Yes, you heard that right. Iron Mike took a chunk out of Lewis's thigh before the fight even happened. The Nevada State Athletic Commission was so disturbed they refused to sanction the bout in Las Vegas. Memphis, Tennessee became the battleground. The Pyramid Arena would host this collision of titans. Let's break down the contrasting styles that made this fight so fascinating. Mike Tyson, the Peekaboo Terror. Trained by the legendary Cus D'Amato, Tyson perfected the art of controlled aggression. His style? Get inside, make opponents pay, destroy body and soul. Tyson bobbed and weaved like a cobra preparing to strike. His head movement was poetry written in violence. Those uppercuts from hell could separate a man's consciousness from his body. In his prime, Tyson was a 5'10" wrecking ball who made height advantages irrelevant. But this wasn't prime Tyson. Years of personal turmoil, prison time, and battles outside the ring had taken their toll. Yet everyone remembered what he was capable of. One perfect punch, and this British giant would crumble like all the others before him. Lennox Lewis, the thinking man's destroyer. Lewis combined British boxing fundamentals with devastating power. His jab was a weapon of mass destruction, a piston that could snap heads back and set up his crushing right hand. At 6'5", with an 84-inch reach, Lewis could keep opponents at the end of his punches all night long. His trainer, Emmanuel Stewart, had transformed Lewis into a complete fighter. Power, precision, ring intelligence. Lewis possessed the complete package, but critics claimed he lacked that killer instinct. They said he was too cautious, too calculated. Against Tyson's savage unpredictability, would that be his downfall? June 8, 2002. The Pyramid Arena was electric with anticipation. Over 15,000 fans packed inside, while millions worldwide watched on pay-per-view. As Tyson entered the ring, you could see it in his eyes, that dangerous mix of desperation and determination. He needed this win. His legacy demanded it. This was his chance to prove the world wrong, to reclaim his throne. Lewis entered calm, focused, businesslike. This was just another day at the office for the British champion. But could he maintain that composure when Tyson's fists started flying? The opening bell rings. Tyson explodes from his corner like a man possessed. He's bobbing, weaving, trying to close the distance. But Lewis's jab, oh, that magnificent jab, keeps finding Tyson's face. Pop! 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 Each one pushing Mike back. disrupting his rhythm. Round 2, Tyson manages to get inside, landing a solid left hook to Lewis's body. The crowd erupts. This is the Tyson they remember. But Lewis stays composed, clinches when necessary, uses his size advantage to smother Tyson's attack. By round 3, a pattern emerges. Lewis is controlling range perfectly. Every time Tyson attempts to bull forward, that ramrod jab snaps his head back. Tyson's face is already showing damage, swelling around the eye, blood trickling from his nose. Round 4, Lewis begins landing that devastating right hand. Boom! Tyson's legs wobble slightly. The British monster has found his range. Tyson fires back desperately, landing a few good shots, but for every punch he lands, Lewis lands 3. Round 8 becomes the beginning of the end. Lewis has completely solved the Tyson puzzle. That jab has turned Mike's face into a crimson mask. Tyson, tired and frustrated, can't get inside anymore. His legendary head movement has slowed. His punch output has decreased dramatically. Then it happens. Round 8, just over 2 minutes in. Lewis sets up his right hand perfectly behind that laser jab. Tyson, exhausted and desperate, walks right into it. Boom! The right hand lands flush on Tyson's jaw. Iron Mike's legs turn to rubber. He stumbles backward, trying to survive, but Lewis smells blood. The British champion stalks forward like a lion closing in on wounded prey. Another right hand. Tyson goes down. His cornerman screams encouragement, but you can see it in Mike's eyes. The light has dimmed. He beats the count, but he's fighting on instinct now, on fumes. Lewis doesn't hesitate. He's been waiting for this moment. Multiple power punches crash through Tyson's weakened defense. The referee is watching closely. This could be over any second. Then comes the final sequence. Lewis lands a crushing right uppercut, followed immediately by a straight right hand. Tyson crumbles to the canvas, face first, unconscious, before he hits the ground. The referee doesn't even count. He waves it off immediately. Knockout. Lennox Lewis by KO in round 8. The Pyramid Arena explodes in a mixture of celebration and stunned silence. Lennox Lewis has just done what many thought impossible. He completely dominated and knocked out Mike Tyson. Lewis stands victorious, having proven beyond doubt that he is the true heavyweight champion. No more questions. No more doubts. He defeated the most feared name in boxing history, not with luck, but with superior skill, strategy, and power. For Tyson, this was the moment the world had to accept. Iron Mike's era was over. The young destroyer who terrorized the heavyweight division in the late 80s was gone, replaced by an aging warrior who could no longer compete with the elite. This fight shocked the world not just because of the result, but because of how it happened. Lewis didn't just beat Tyson, he dominated him. He outboxed him, outpunched him, and ultimately knocked him out cold. The boxing styles couldn't have been more different. Tyson's aggressive, peekaboo style that once seemed unstoppable was completely neutralized by Lewis's size, reach, and technical brilliance. It was a masterclass in how to fight Mike Tyson. For Lewis, this victory cemented his place among heavyweight greatness. He had defeated every top name of his era: Evander Holyfield, Vitaly Klitschko, and now Mike Tyson. For Tyson, it was a painful reminder that Father Time remains undefeated. But even in defeat, Iron Mike proved his warrior spirit. He took tremendous punishment, but kept trying to find that one perfect punch until his body simply couldn't continue. This fight taught us that styles make fights, but preparation and execution win them. Lewis prepared perfectly, executed flawlessly, and left no doubt about who the better fighter was that night in Memphis. The British monster had slayed the American legend, and boxing would never be quite the same. This was more than just a fight. It was the passing of an era, witnessed by millions, remembered forever. Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis. The night the world stood still and watched a legend fall.